am Berthina Nabama-Kinney, and I'll be joined with Erin O'Hara-Block as we discuss the director's evaluation and the process as we move forward for the final evaluation. We do have a PowerPoint slide that will be that is up now, and we will go through that PowerPoint as a visual aid to discuss the final evaluation, its process, and any timelines, and then we will open it up for question and answers. And so I'm going to hand the mic over to Mrs. Block for us to walk through the preliminary, and then we will hop in accordingly. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you. And apologies, I think I've got the wrong date on that slide, so my apologies for that. We'll get that corrected. But if we can go forward, that'd be great. So just a reminder, back one, a reminder of where we are, what are we doing this year on evaluation, where are we in the process. So we've done quarterly reports. We did quarter 1 and 2, and then a semi-annual evaluation feedback process, quarter 3 and 4, and then a semi-annual feedback process again. And we've done both of those, and now we are ready to do the final board feedback to the director on summative evaluation and the final evaluation. So we are going to do that. We talked about this, I think, at our last evaluation committee meeting, that it was possible we might not get to that until October. As it turns out, that is the case. And so what is on this first slide here is just an update that we'll be doing the final evaluation at the October, I think it's 24th, if that's correct, board meeting. We can go forward. So again, as a reminder, we have been focused this year on the focused outcomes from the perspective of the director evaluation. So literacy, numeracy, SEL, and transition. We can go forward again. And so what we've done each quarter is Dr. Battle does her own self-reflection, self-evaluation. That comes in at the end of each quarter. Board members then, and each of those things, each of her bits of feedback are relative to a particular focused outcome, and then the board goes in and gives feedback in that quarter, and then we've done a public review of that evaluation twice this year. So now we're at the final stage of that. So we do now have the director self-evaluation, which includes all of the summative evidence. So we've got student outcomes data in there as well on benchmarks, TCAP, TVAS, attendance. Each one of the focused outcomes also has information around sort of implementation evidence, outputs related to implementation. And then within the focused outcomes, we're talking about, Dr. Battle has reviewed progress on the signature initiative. So that is what we have from Dr. Battle. That will be entered into the portal that we are all using or used to using. And then the board feedback, so this is the part we wanted to make sure you all heard us say in this format. The board feedback, so we will, each one of us, do written feedback as we have been doing, with also the addition here, because this is summative, of summative ratings for each focused outcome. So each one of us will give a met, partially met, or not met summative rating for each of the focused outcomes. And we want that to be based on evidence that has come from what we've seen in the self-evaluation, questions that we've asked relative to self-evaluation, things that we've heard in board meetings are probably reasonable to bring in, but really we want to be focused on self-evaluation and feedback to the self-evaluation, right? And so written feedback and then summative ratings for each of the focused outcomes. And on the next slide, we tell you that that is due October 6th. So that is soon. It will be open for you all to get in and do that work on. Again, note just that one of the reasons that we delayed this a little bit is we were waiting to have all of the data we wanted from the state, so TVAS, TCAP, in addition to the district benchmark data, attendance data, et cetera. We are in that place. We are not going to have some of the data we thought we might have relative to AMOs and some of these other things, but we're going to go forward anyway because we feel like it is right to continue to move forward and to then start our evaluation for this school year, which will, again, we will be starting, if you go back to quarter 1 of this year, you can see that we did that on the October-November timeframe, or just October-November-December timeframe, and so we're going to be very quickly into this year's evaluation process, so we want to wrap up last year's summative evaluation. And so I think Dr. Nabama-Kinney is going to talk a little bit about some of the specific timeline, and then we can take any questions.
Yeah. working on the push button. Thank you, Ms. O'Hara-Block. As far as the timeline for written feedback from board members, the evaluation, we will be sending you the evaluation material as of today, so you will have access for it today. We are giving you a week and a half to complete that evaluation process. So the final deadline to get that in is between now and October 6th, which is the Friday before fall break. During that time, it will give Ms. O'Hara-Block and I an opportunity to collect all the data and feedback that we receive from board members across the board, and collect and summarize that data, as well as collect and summarize whether Dr. Battle has met, partially met, or not met the focused outcomes. What we want to do also from there is, once we collect that data, compile a report. We are going to send the draft report back to school board members to review and look at, and we will give you 2 to 3 days to review that, look at it. And so the deadline for that is October, did we say 16th? October 16th, we want to try to get that information back to you. So we will be working briefly during the fall break to get that information back to you in a timely manner. We will send that draft back to you, as well as you, Dr. Battle, to review that information, provide any feedback over the next 2 days. You will have 2 days, which is October the 18th, to provide any feedback or ask any follow-up questions. And then we want to have a completed formal evaluation done by October the 20th so that we can submit for our October 24th board meeting. And so that is the deadline. So we will be sticking really closely to those deadlines and those dates, so that we have an opportunity, and every board member has an opportunity to provide feedback, follow up on any feedback, ask any questions, so that we can thoroughly and completely provide the evaluation process. And then at the October 24th meeting is where we will present the final evaluation. Do we have any questions on those dates? Any questions on the evaluation process?
Just a reminder that you will receive reminders. Slash harassment.
Yes. We're starting early.
We have not yet discussed whether or not there will be treats. We will take that under advisement. I do know that some treats are potentially still owed from the last occasion, so we will discuss that briefly after this meeting is ended. Thank you.
Yes. Great question. Any other questions?
Can we have a pizza party?
Sounds good. If there is no other questions, then we will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.